for that thing?
September 6th.
Oh, okay.
It's halftime at the high school homecoming game.
Okay. I got mine. They got me on the 4th.
Oh, I figured Will would get more than I get. He always does.
Yeah, he got me coming in the door.
Yeah. Will's my hustler. I talked to Scott, and next year, and I'll bring it up at my meeting tomorrow. We want music to correlate with our fireworks.
If we can do that, that'd be great.
I think I don't have a band director, so I don't think I'll get a band from the high school. But with everybody, they can make a playlist on their iPad.
It's easy. It's all out there.
The technology is there for it.
Yep.
I can be as good as Boston Pop. So, anyhow, we will do what we can next year. And then we'll have to do it every year thereafter, once we get it.
Damn it. That's terrible.
Isn't that right, Corey? Have music to our fireworks.
What would the appropriate,
Well, usually it's just orchestra music, it's not songs.
Yeah.
But we could stick Lee Greenwood in there.
Oh, you gotta turn it off.
Yeah.
It's a heart attack.
Let me get myself turned on here.
Here's a response to the public.
Okay. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we please have the roll call?
Councilmember Kelly,
Present.
Councilmember Turner,
Here.
Councilmember Perkins.
Here.
Councilmember Mendoza,
Here.
Councilmember Best,
Here.
Vice Mayor Miller,
Here.
Mayor Croft.
Here.
Introductions, presentations, and proclamations. We have none.
We have-
Call the public is an opportunity for the public to address the council on any issue within the jurisdiction of the council that is not on the agenda. Public comment is encouraged. Individuals are limited to speak for 3 minutes. The total time for call to public may be up to 30 minutes per meeting. Council action taken as a result of public comment will be limited to directing staff to study the matter, scheduling the matter for further consideration and discussion at a later date, or responding to criticism. Do we have anyone for call to public? Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. I am Beth Vickery, an Eagle Level Frontier Girl. I am here to share information about a program I am running in Chino Valley this summer. Every Wednesday at 1 p.m., all children and their parents are invited to come to the Summer Fun Kids Club for educational and fun activities. This program will be held at the Chino Valley Library Community Room and will happen every Wednesday until July 31st. Every child will receive books at the program, and there will be door prizes for both kids and adults. We have fun contests as well. I am very excited to announce tomorrow's program. Council member Lon Turner will be teaching us about windmills, what they are, how they work, and why they are important. Afterwards, we will be making small windmill crafts. Next week, our local police, sheriff, and fire departments will be there talking about safety. And the next week will be our Caricature Con, which is all about our favorite book characters. We will end the Summer Fun Kids Club on July 31st with Summer Olympics. I'm still receiving volunteers to help run each program and sponsor to help support the program. If you wish to volunteer, sponsor, or learn more about the program, you can contact my public relation advisor at 928-899-3582. This program is the main project for my Frontier Girls Eagle Level Diamond Award. I appreciate the support from my community.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Questions?
We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Anyone else for call to public? Okay, seeing none, we'll go on to response to the public. Response to the public is an opportunity for the mayor to inform the public about how the town officials address matters raised during call to public at previous meeting. 4A is William Nick, co-owner of the
It's Nichols.
Oh, it is Nichols? Okay. Co-owner of the CBD Connection had concerns regarding the inability to post signage out on the street. The response is, this is a response drafted for the public comment received during the June 25th, 2019 regular town council meeting. The owner of CBD Connection spoke about the town's enforcement of the UDO sign code and their belief that the town's enforcement of the adopted ordinance was costing them money. Staff met with the owners of CBD Connection after the meeting. Staff reviewed CBD's Connection's current permanent signage and found that the center is undersigned per what is allowed per code. Staff met with the owners of CBD Connection at their business to discuss options for increasing the size of their permanent signage from the existing 6 square feet to an approximate 64 square feet, dependent on the length of their storefront. All right. And moving on, we have current event summaries and reports. This item is for information only. The mayor, any council member, town manager may present a brief summary or report of current events. If listed below, there may also be a presentation on information requested by the mayor council, and questions may be answered. No action will be taken. Status reports by mayor and council. Mr. Mayor.
Scott, would you come up front, please?
Yes.
I'd like you to pass on to your staff and everybody that volunteered, staff that helped with the 4th of July celebration, a well done from the council. It was one of the better 4th of Julys that I've been processing. I've been on this council almost 8 years. So thank you. All the work you did to police officers and everybody that was involved in the 4th of July celebration.
Thank you, Mayor. We can't forget the other groups, Lions and Lioness. Councilman Turner was our on-the-spot opening ceremonial announcer, and the post came out. I understand you were a little bit under the weather. The post came out and represented our flag, and so thank you very much, and all the people that.
And I sold beer for the Rotary Club.
And I wasn't sure if I should mention that or not. Thank you, Mayor.
Sold out.
I drank it.
Anybody else on this side? Yes, sir, Mike.
I'd like to remind people that tomorrow night at 6 o'clock at the community center will be our 50th anniversary committee meeting. Anybody who wants to come out, they're more than welcome.
Corey, Annie?
I have nothing.
Gentlemen?
No, sir.
Madam?
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm not really feeling great, so I'm not gonna report on much except to remind you that we do have a study session next Tuesday night. We won't have one in August because of the League of Cities Conference, so next week we have one, as well as a council meeting the following week. So, just a reminder. And I too want to echo the mayor's comments about the 4th of July. I thought it was really well done, so thank you, staff. And
Okay, no staff? All right. Item 6, consent agenda. All those items listed below are considered to be routine and may be enacted by one motion. Any council member may request to remove an item from the consent agenda to be considered and discussed separately. Does anyone want to remove anything? Okay. We need a motion? We don't read them no more, right?
I'd like to make a motion to accept consent items 6A and B.
Second it.
Okay, motion made and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passed. Action items. The council may vote to recess the public meeting and hold an executive session on any item on this agenda pursuant to ARS 38-431.03A3 for the purpose of discussion or consultation for legal advice with a town attorney. Executive sessions are not open to the public and no action may be taken in executive session. 7A, consideration and possible action to approve the license and concierge agreement between the town of Chino Valley and Compass Training Center, Arizona, related to the management of the Chino Valley shooting facility. Hi.
Hi, Vice Mayor Miller. Thank you, Mayor and Council. Tonight, we're discussing and making a recommendation by staff that we approve the license and concessionaire agreement between the town of Chino Valley and Compass Training Center. The town sent out RFPs for the management of the center. We received them and opened them on March 28th of 19. 2 actually RFPs were received. Staff, Councilmember Lane and a volunteer or basically reviewed and scored the RFPs, and with that scoring, we selected the Compass Training Center group as our recommendation of the group that we would like that are proposing to actually operate the facility. Legal spent a significant amount of time drafting the concessionaire's agreement. We did review it with council at the last study session, or at the last executive session. So John Stankiewicz is here today, and also the chief. If you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions? Annie?
Do I have any questions? No, I'm just happy to be here for this vote.
This side?
No questions here.
Okay, we'll entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the license and concessionaire agreement between the town of Chino Valley and Compass Training Center, Arizona, related to the management of the Chino Valley shooting facility.
Second it.
We have a motion in 2 seconds. All in
Aye.
favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passed. 7B, consideration and possible action to award a design-build contract to Jebco Construction Companies, LLC, for a utility shop building at Old Home Manor and Memory Park restrooms in the amount of $103,320 for pre-construction services. Mr. Marbury.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. With this contract, we've been looking at how to best construct these 2 buildings, and we thought it might be best. We're having trouble figuring out how to get the best prices between design and bidding, so we think design build might be the best way to go here. And we put that out. Maybe first, Andrew, do you maybe want to give a brief overview of how design build relates as opposed to design bid build, maybe?
I'd be happy to. Mayor and Council, this is the first time you're seeing the gargantuan document that we prepared for other clients and have adapted for you. Design build is a one-step process for selecting someone to construct a project for you. I always like to say a few years ago, but now it's getting to be probably almost 20 years ago that the statute was brought into the state, because contractors were recognizing that the bidding statutes that require you to take the low bid oftentimes were putting communities in a position of having to accept bids that were marginal and then would have to be amended many times through change orders, and wasn't necessarily getting good quality work to municipalities or other governmental entities, because we were required to do everything by bid. Now, after Associated General Contractors and others brought the statute forward, it allows you to do 3 other procurement methods. One is a job order contract, which is fairly popular for the bigger cities that do a lot of one thing. You know, City of Phoenix will issue millions of dollars worth of GOCs for slurry seal because they have many, many miles of road. And so they'll do that on a regular basis. You don't see those as much in smaller communities because a job order contract is just about as big as what you have in front of you. And it's a pretty heavy lift of things to do. Typically, we piggyback onto other people's job order contracts and get the benefit of all their efforts at half the cost. The other versions are the ones you'll see more often. A construction manager at risk process is a 2-step process. You hire the designer and take the project up to the point where it's ready to be built. While it's in that last stage of design, the construction manager at risk is hired to facilitate the last stages to give you constructability, like guarantees that they can build it for the price that they said they would. And then you get to a guaranteed maximum price and it's a capped contract. That's what they pay. That's what they get paid. Design build compresses that process into a single person doing both the design and the build. So right now what you have is pre-construction services. That's everything up to building and some post-construction work and just about everything other than the actual vertical construction. So that's why it's a pretty big number for pre-con. But if you get to a design, get to the end of the design and you come to the conclusion that you don't like the guaranteed maximum price proposal, you are not obligated to go forward at that point. So you'll see the bulk of this contract come back to you in a much smaller version because it'll be an amendment to this contract, but it'll have all the exhibits and all the details that go along with the actual construction. It'll have the schedule, it'll have everything else for you so you can really sink your teeth in it to the extent you want to. We've done many of these agreements around the state. By far the most popular one is CM at risk. Construction manager at risk is the one that's used most commonly, but we've done a number of design build agreements from parks to buildings to just about anything, libraries. So if you have questions about the behemoth document, I'm happy to answer them. It's intended to be a one-stop shop so that when someone bids with us, they bought that contract. We're not going to be arguing about the contract when we're arguing about the price of the project later on. So happy to answer any questions.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Any questions on this side?
And,
Sorry.
Oh, and I was just gonna maybe go through some of the contract particulars. What we did through the design build procurement process is you select based on qualifications, and we had a review committee of 5 members, one of which by state law included a general contractor. There was 6 submittals from construction and architecture teams. They were all ranked, and the highest ranked one was the Jebco team that you see in this contract before you. So we went on with that. Like Andrew said, this cost proposal does include a small amount of post-design services. It's the money for the architects and engineers to look at the shop drawings, if there's any requests for information, and I believe there's about 4 site visits built into that price. It's not the contractor's markup, but it is the architects and engineers' time during construction, with the exception of the as-builts. The as-built preparation will be part of the construction package. It includes all of the bonds and insurance and things that us public agencies require out of these entities. So what you'll see is we've got the proposal here, and it'll take us through the design process. At about 90% in the design process, we'll be coming back to council with a guaranteed maximum price for construction. So it'll be, as Andrew said, an amendment to the contract, which will have all of the construction costs associated with it, any exclusions that may be in there, and maybe a small contingency for those exclusions if we see those. If there's any contingency that I'm sure is approved by the attorney, that cannot be spent without permission of the town. So the contractor does not have free reign over any contingency on there. That'll be written into the contract, I'm sure. So what we're looking at is a total cost. for this portion of the contract of, I think it's about $103,000. The total budget we're looking at for this is about 470, and I'm pretty confident we can stay under that total budget with the scope we have. To maybe some of the questions that have come up for, like if the utility building, if the size of that building envelope changes, I spoke with the architect just before the meeting, and he said if that envelope size changes, it won't change the design cost a single penny. That the design cost is more of the improvements in the building and the general layout, that we could add 2 more bays to that building and not change the cost. So that's another reason it may seem high up front, is that these are, in relative terms, maybe small buildings for the amount of design that are going into them, that you could almost double the square footage of these buildings with the space and not increase the design cost. So that's another thing you look at here. So that's what we're looking at, and it's basically, it'll be the utility building out at Old Home Manor. Includes everything except for connecting the utilities. We can do that in-house. Any site layout work, but for the pad or the surrounding areas, we'll take care of that in-house, and this contract's for the building. Similar thing for the memory park bathrooms. They'll design the building itself. If we need any sort of septic tank work, we'll take care of that with our engineering staff and handle that. So with that, that's all I can think of. Any questions or anything I'm missing?
Any questions over there? Over here?
When I see it.
You would take a motion?
Okay. Make a motion to award a design build contract to Jebco Construction Companies LLC for utility shop building at Old Home Manor and Memory Parks restrooms in the amount of $103,320 for pre-construction services.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 8, executive session. Council may vote to recess a regular meeting and hold an executive session which will not be open to the public for the following purposes. And that has been canceled, so it's up to you, Mr. Turner.
Why don't you
It's
go ahead
been
and read,
canceled.
go ahead and read the,
Oh, read it.
Yeah.
An executive session pursuant to ARS 38-431.03A4 for discussion or consultation with attorney for the town in order to consider the town's position and instruct attorney for the town regarding the town's position regarding a potential intergovernment agreement. They just wanted to see me
yeah, I
stutter.
did, yes.
With the city of Prescott relating to waters. It don't matter because we're not doing it.
I'd like to make a motion to postpone item 8A until the July 23rd council meeting.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now, Mr. Turner.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Yeah, there you go. All in favor?
Aye.
Good night.
Not quite a record, but close.
What'd she say?
Not quite a record.
I believe the standing record
did good.
is 14 minutes.